coming. I'm going to do an informative speech today. It's called 808 Disaster Preparedness. And what it's going to encompass, we're just going to go over a lot of things. I'm going to introduce an alert that NOAA just gave about 2 weeks ago on TV. And I'm just going to outline what the civil defense role is, what their purpose is, the type of disasters that they identify for us, the agencies that collaborate with them, some of the resources, how to put a safety kit together, and then we're just going to go over some of the areas that, as members of the community, what we can do for our family and our community. So what I wanted to start off with is the Civil Defense Agency, their whole purpose, which I didn't know. The role of the County of Hawaii Civil Defense Agency is to direct and coordinate the development and administration of the county's total preparedness and response program to ensure that effective action when natural or man-made disasters occurs in Hawaii, that they know what to do. Basically what it is the county is the hub, and there's agencies that filter information into there that they disseminate to the public. So they're like the middle person, that's their job. Some of the agencies, some of the disasters that they identify, and it's not limited to this, but these are the main ones, is tsunamis, flooding, volcano eruptions, earthquakes, tornadoes, and hurricanes. With the exception of tornadoes, the others pretty much are what the disasters that they identify for us. So these are some of the agencies that collaborate with the civil defense in helping the public be aware of disasters that are coming and how to prepare ourselves. So the National Weather Service is one of the agencies. NOAA, the National Ocean and Atmospheric Administration, is another one. Red Cross, how they come in is they come in after a disaster has happened. That's their main function, and to provide training to prepare for a disaster. USGS, the Hawaiian Volcano Observatory, they deal with everything with the volcano and earthquakes. So earthquakes falls under that. And then FEMA, we always hear about that. They're the agency that comes in after a disaster occurs. So these are all the agencies that the civil defense collaborates with, and then they disseminate the information to the public once it's all put together. One of the ways, one of the resources that's available, and I don't have a preparedness kit myself, is our local telephone book. Everything you need to know about disaster preparedness, the tsunami evacuation zone, how to do a kit, website and important information and phone numbers is all in the front of your phone book, and it's available to everyone. Some of the websites that I found was this website right here. If you type in your address, it'll tell you exactly if you're in a tsunami zone and the closest shelter available to your home. So that's a website that's available. The next one is you can actually sign up for alerts through the County of Hawaii and through FEMA. You go in, you put your name, you put what state you are, and they'll alert you according to what disasters you want to be notified for. The other one is be informed about different types of disasters and how to prepare when they hit. So alerts to find out whether you're in a tsunami zone, and then different types of disasters and how to prepare for it. So the main thing is when NOAA issued 2 weeks ago, what they issued is that the state of Hawaii for the next 6 months, we're going to be in an El Nino zone. And they said because of that, it's the prime conditions will be there for hurricanes to happen. So that's why the preparedness is what we're trying to get out, because usually it's from September, maybe all the way to February, but now NOAA has extended this alert for the next 6 months. Why is it important to prepare for a disaster? Knowing what to do before, during, and after an emergency is a critical part of being prepared, and it can make all the difference in the road when it comes down to the seconds. Another thing is an emergency can reduce the fear that can arise from the unknown. And with us working at the school, I know we were here when September 11 happened, and when we all came back, you know, a lot of the kids were kind of anxious, and I think being able to prepare for that helps us, because there's going to be fear associated with it. So just be prepared. And also, why is it important? It just helps you be more informed and know what to do and how to protect your family. And ultimately, you know, your family is your foundation, and you want to make sure they're safe. And I know when we're at work, our job is to be here with the kids, but ultimately we want our family to be intact through a disaster. There are basic preventative steps in preparing for a disaster. One of them is know where your nearest shelter is. Holualoa School is a shelter. Most public schools are a shelter. I know Kahakai was one. I don't know if they're one anymore because they're in the tsunami zone. So knowing where your closest shelter is. Have an evacuation plan, like for me, Maravik, even Shala. When we have children, if we're separated from them, is there a person that they call or that we call? You know, because they're saying don't use the telephone lines because you're gonna kind of hang up the lines. But is there a person we all call and say, oh yeah, your mom called, she's fine? And what they're saying now is actually have someone on the mainland. Don't have someone in the state of Hawaii that all of you can call and text and know that, okay, we're all fine, we're all separated, but we're all fine. So that's part of the evacuation plan when you have to evacuate from your school or your home. Another one is develop a communication plan. Talk with kids, and I know I talk with my kids even though they're older. If for some reason something happens and the road is closed, do not drive home, stay there. And you know, it doesn't matter if they're younger or they're older. Being able to talk with your family if a disaster hits calms the fears, especially of kids. The other one is make a family emergency supply kit, and I'll show you that later. Another way to be prepared is sign up for wireless emergency alerts, and that can be done on the County of Hawaii Civil Defense. And one of the important things that they are saying, once a disaster hits, many people want to go home and see the damage. Wait till the all clear sounds, especially for those, you know, near the ocean area. This is what we have in a family preparedness kit. I will give you a list of all these things, but basically what you want to do, there's a kit if you have to evacuate to a shelter, and there's a kit if you have to stay home and there is no electricity. And I mean, I haven't done one for years, but you got to think, you know, the tsunami that hit in 2011, Hurricane Iniki, you know, we don't know. We don't know. We're very comfortable where we are in our homes, but if we had to leave with our kids, would we be prepared? And that's what we're trying to encourage everyone. So basically, be ready, make a plan. It's important to develop a family routine and a plan of action with your family in case you're separated during a disaster. Discussing with your family will help calm fears. And it's also important if you have young children, and with us being here, we've never had to be here when there's been a disaster with our kids, but our job would be to calm the fears of them, like we do every day. And I think it's important for us to realize if a disaster hits, we have to be calm, and we have to realize this is our job. How do we get these kids safe till they get home to their families? So lastly, over a quick review. Purpose of the County of Civil Defense serves as a hub for all these agencies to report their information, and then they disseminate it. The second thing is they collaborate with other agencies to help us be prepared. The third is that there's a lot of resources available. You can Google it. You can Google it and find information. The fourth thing is basic steps that we can take to be prepared. Survival kit, communication with our kids. Who do we call in case we're separated so I know that you're okay? And the last one, establishing a plan of action. So we can say all these things, but if we don't do anything, it defeats the whole purpose. So anyway, I just wanted to share it with you, and hopefully this will kind of kick you into action. Thank you.
Great job.
Thank you so much, ladies. I appreciate it. So So I'm gonna pass, this is just for you folks to have. It's a fact